National movements in India, partition and independence, 1939 to 1947. So the title of the lesson itself indicates that what are the national movements took place in India as a part of independence. The word partition means division. We know that India is divided mainly into two parts. One is India and second one is Pakistan. Actually, India is divided into three countries. One is India, second one is East Pakistan and third one is Pakistan. After this, East Pakistan becomes Bangladesh. In later lessons, we will discuss this topic in more detail. But in this lesson, we learn how India and Pakistan are divided, what are the movements took place for independence, and how Gandhiji died, etc. So in this lesson, we learned only what happened in India during the period of 1939 to 1947. So in this video, we will learn that the Indian government really supported the war or not, and what are the demands asked by Indian government when if India supported for war, and what are the objections of British government. Okay, let's start our video. Should the war be supported by Indians, 1939 to 1942? First point. When the war started in 1939, most of the provinces of India were governed by Congress ministers. We already know that the Second World War was started in the year 1939. So at this time, most of the provinces means a principal administrative division of a country. That means it is one of the main state in a country. So most of the main states in India are governed by Congress party. The British government accepted the principles that the right to rule themselves must be given to Indians to an extent. So the British government doesn't give full powers to India, but they give some small powers to rule the peoples who lived in the provinces under the government of Congress party. Right to rule themselves means the government had right to rule their peoples. For example, Indian government had right to rule Indian peoples. So British government accepted these principles and give rights to Indians to an extent to rule their peoples. Okay. Second point. The Government of India Act was passed in 1935 by the British Parliament. So in 1935, Government of Indian Act was passed by the Parliament of British. Friends, this is very important bit. Please remember the bit, that is in 1935 Government of Indian Act was passed. According to this, elections may be held in provinces and governments may be formed by parties that won in the elections. We already discussed that many provinces are governed by Congress party. That means Congress party won in elections held in that provinces. So after the Government of India Act was passed in 1935, the elections were held in provinces and the party which won in these elections have right to form their government in that provinces. Okay, third point. However, the right to vote was given to a small section of the population, about 12% for provincial assemblies and about 1% for the central assembly. So even elections are held, but only small section of the peoples have right to vote, and about 12% people got to write in provinces and only 1% of people got right to vote in central assembly. That means when we think a state had 100 peoples, only 12 people got their right to vote, and if a country had 100 peoples, only 1 people got right to vote. Okay. Fourth point. When elections were held to the assemblies of the 11 provinces of British India in 1937, Congress won a comprehensive victory. So in 1937, elections were held to the assemblies of the 11 provinces of British India, and Congress won a massive victory. 8 out of 11 provinces had a Congress Prime Ministers working under the supervision of a British governor. We already know that every state had a chief ministers, but at that time every provinces had a prime minister. So 8 out of 11 provinces, that means out of 11 provinces, 8 provinces are governed by Congress prime ministers, but all these prime ministers are worked under the supervision of a British governor. So this indicates British government give power to Indian government, but only for some extent. Here also prime ministers are Indians, but all these prime ministers are worked under the supervision of British governor. Fifth point. A difficult question arose before the Congress leaders. Should they help the British in fighting the war against Germany, Japan, Italy and other Axis forces? So now Congress had a question that they help British in fighting against the Axis powers in Second World War because British executed harsh rules and methods in India. They exported all wealth of our country. So that's why now Congress government had a question. Should we support for British government in Second World War? Sixth point. Britain had not even consulted them before deciding that India will participate in the war. Here, them indicates Congress leaders. Before deciding that India will participate in the war, British government had not even consulted. That means British government even not asked Congress leaders and taking their own decisions. That is, India will participate in the World War II. There were reasons both for and against supporting the war. So Congress leaders have both reasons for supporting the war and against the war. Seventh point. Most Congress leaders were opposite to Hitler, Mussolini and the ideology of fascism. They were determined to resist the fascists' drive to conquer other sovereign nations. So Congress leaders also opposite to Hitler and Mussolini ruling and they doesn't like the ideology of fascism. Fascism means it is a authoritarian government. There is no rights for people and all the powers are in the hands of the ruler and the ruler rule the country in a dictatorial way. So because of this, Congress leaders also opposite to the ideology of fascism. So that's why Congress leaders were determined to resist the fascists' drive to conquer other sovereign nations. Sovereign nations means a self-governing country. Example, now India is a sovereign country because we ruling our country in which way we want. We had constitution, we had rules and regulations. So we follow these rules and regulations. That's why now India is a sovereign country. So to avoid fascists to conquer other sovereign nations, Congress leaders also determined to resist the fascists. Okay, 8th point. The Congress expected that the British would see their double standards in the expectations that India should support them in fighting the fascists but not giving or at least promising India full freedom. So the Congress leaders anticipated that the British would see their double standards. Here their term indicates the British government. Double standards means different types of rules for different groups of people. Here in India also, British created some rules for Britishers and some other rules for Indians. So even now, India is supporting the British government in the war and fighting against the fascists. The British government does not announce India full freedom, or at least they doesn't promise it to give India full freedom after World War II. Ninth point. The British realized this, but at the same time it was hard for them to accept that they will really have to dismantle the empire they had built. The Britishers realized this. Here this indicates that the Congress leaders expect full freedom. The British government realized that Indian leaders expect full freedom from them, and that's why Indians supported Britishers in Second World War. But the British rulers doesn't want to give freedom for Indians because they build a very massive empire and giving of freedom is very hard for them to accept. So that's why now British rulers are not ready to give independence for India. 10th point. There were different political parties in Britain. At the time of the war, Britain had an all-party government headed by Prime Minister Winston Churchill of the Conservative Party. So Britain had different political parties. And at the time of the Second World War, Britain is headed by all-party government. All-party government means coalition government, which is formed by the combination of two or more political parties. So, at the time of Second World War, Britain is headed by a coalition government, and his leader name is Winston Churchill. Friends, please remember this name. This name is very important. He is from Conservative Party. 11th point. The Conservatives were keen to retain the empire for as long as was possible. So Conservative Party doesn't want, or they are not ready to give freedom for India, and they want to retain India as a colony as long as possible. In comparison to the Conservatives, the Labour Party was more willing to help Indians attain freedom. So when compared to Conservative Party, Labour Party helped more for Indian independence. Okay. 12th point. The British were willing to give India dominion status under the British Crown sometime after the war, but the Congress wanted a promise of full freedom. So after the war had ended, British government is ready to give dominion status. Dominion means at that time British government give dominion status for their colonies. The country which have dominion status, they are semi-independent. Semi means half. So half of the rights are given to people, and main positions are headed by the country people. But all these leaders are under the control of Britishers. So that's why Indian leaders doesn't want dominion status. They want a promise of full freedom. 13th point. The Congress also demanded that an immediate national government should be set up at the center. So Congress also demanded to set up an immediate national government at the center. The British objected to this by saying that they have to also protect the interests of several other communities in India. So British government objected these demands from Congress and also stated that British government also protect the interests of several other communities in India. That means Congress government doesn't care all other communities in India. We all already know how British ruled India. Then why they stated like this? This is because they doesn't want to give freedom for India. They are showing it is one of the reason for them to rule India for some time. But in reality, British government doesn't care or doesn't protect any community in India. This is the only reason for them to rule for some time, some more time after the war has ended. Okay. 14th point. With this, they implied that Congress did not represent all Indians like Muslims. They also implied that Congress may be ignoring the interests of many Indians, and the British were required to protect these interests. Because of the above statement, that is, Britishers have to be protect the interests of several other communities in India. Britain implied that, implied means the words that they cannot express but their inner feelings. So from the above statement, Britain inner feelings was Congress party doesn't represent all Indians like Muslims, and Congress party also ignoring the interests of many Indians, and the British government is required in India to protect all these interests. Okay. 15th point. The Congress was upset at the obstinacy of the British and decided to walk out of the provincial governments. So all the Congress leaders were upset at the obstinacy. Obstinacy means opposed. We know British opposed the demands of Congress. So with the opposition of demands, the Congress leaders decided to leave their positions in provincial governments. So that's why all Congress ministers resigned in October 1939 after having come to power in 1937. 16th point. The government had given itself special wartime powers to maintain law and orders to be able to focus on winning the war. So, to focus on winning the war, the British government given special wartime powers to maintain law and order in India. Anyone opposite the government could be jailed without much delay and kept imprisoned for a long time without going to court. So with these new laws, anyone who opposed the government. They will be prisoned immediately and kept them in jail for long time without going to court. 17th point. Freedom of speech was also curtailed. So British government imposed some restrictions on freedom of speech also. Through 1940 and 1941, the Congress organized a series of individual satyagrahas to pressure the rulers to promise freedom once the war has ended. No major mass protests was launched. So, at the period of 1940 and 1941, Congress leaders organized a series of individual satyagrahas to pressure on British rulers to promise freedom once the war had ended. So, at this time, there is no mass protests was launched.